What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilk, and of course we're coming back with more Wistoria. Now, when we left off last, we had basically gotten Julius back. Julius is back. So what they're going to do here is they're going to give us the whole story of what happened, and it kind of makes sense. There is one thing I'm going to kind of sort of criticize here, but it's just me overthinking stuff. But nevertheless, let's jump in because we basically kicked this off with where he's already kind of been blasted through the chest, and he's a goner, right? Dude's looking up at the sky. He sees the barrier. He's like, this is it, huh? This is where it all ends. Brilliant. And these two walk up, and they're just basically like, oh, hey, we can help you. We need that little amulet thing you got. And he's like, what choice do I have? More or less. I paraphrase quite a bit. And as you guys know, whenever we fade from the black background to the white background, that is going from the past to the present. So they're just kind of like, bear with us. We'll keep your talisman safe. Just trust us. And of course, we get to the present day where everybody's kind of like, everybody's celebrating, right? He's back. He lived. He's here. And nobody thought this was going to be a thing. They harped on his death for a long, long, long time. And he's just like, hey, dummies, we're in the middle of a war. We could do this later. Typical Julius level stuff. And, even old girl here is like losing it. Like everybody kind of thought this guy was done. And Will's the only one who's kind of like, yeah, I figured this was going to happen. But, Will knows a little bit more than most people. This is where I'm going to get a little overly critical. Because basically what he says is he's like, if you guys remember his kind of like the ice, I guess, clone technique that he knows, the one that he learned from Elfie, copied from Elfie. Will mentions, he's like, look, we get it, but the one thing that people haven't figured out yet, which we'll get to my criticism on that in a moment, is that it basically mirrors your body temperature, but the other direction. Instead of being 37 degrees Celsius, obviously, forward, it's negative 37 degrees. He's like, so I figured it out. And Julius is like, really? That's it? He's like, and I believed in you. Like, good save, Will. Good save. Now, here's my criticism. Just bear with me. How many of y'all are going to go up on a deceased corpse as a professional, as somebody who knows what a body is supposed to look like, and go, yes, they instantly become below freezing and cold enough to freeze air, essentially. That's like that. That's around the temperature that like dry ice exists. I like the caveat. I like the fact that they did it this way, and they even insinuated that this is like somewhere between Elfie and his capabilities and all that. But I don't know. I don't fully know, but I'm not going to overthink it, right? It's a neat little caveat. And we really thought for a while that he was gone. Now, they did insinuate for quite a while that he wasn't, but you just never know. Like, was he playing both sides? Was he this, that, the other thing? You didn't know. But now we know for sure. We know exactly what happened, and it makes sense. Like, it doesn't feel like a complete posterior pull. All right. So getting back into it, he's like, they helped me fake my death. The whole Ice faction was basically in on the whole thing. And even Liana's like, hey, you're back. That is awesome. Welcome. And everyone's just kind of having this whole reunion. While old girl down here is, she's like, this is not good. I mean, you can see the look on her face. She's like, this is not going to end well for her. But she's nothing if not persistent. Now, this cell right here is interesting. Because if you kind of go back here for a minute, I'm going to back up ever so slightly as I review this. That's the talisman that he acquired. Elfie now has that talisman, so she's keeping that, which makes sense. She's over the ice faction. But why is the elven chick here? Because she's got little, if nothing, to do with this. If it was Wignall, I'd completely see it. I'd get it. But interesting. We'll have to see how that plays out. I think they're alluding to something here, but I haven't quite put all the pieces in place. So if you've got speculation, comments section is yours. No spoilers, but I mean, in fairness, we don't have the next chapter yet. So chapter 55 will be out in about a month's time. And she's like, what in the, how are you alive? That's kind of the question of the moment. So she's like, better yet, how are you able to cast spells? That is the question. Because remember, they're supposed to not be able to cast spells. Like, this is all, like, bad news. How is he able to cast a spell when no one else can? And I think that has a lot to do with what's going on here. So, yeah. But we'll find out here in just a moment. And actually, it probably has a lot to do with that other scene, but I think there's more coming from that. You know, she's like, it's not a, you know, that he continues to basically just cast magic, just do his thing. And she's like, it's not a fluke. He's actually using magic inside our anti-magic barrier. What is going on? And yeah, what is going on? And she's like, what's going on in the castle? What is happening that is broken down that's allowing this to go on? And like, you know, they even say release the creatures, massacre them all, go ham, blah, blah, blah. Well, we're going to find out pretty quick that that is not going to be a thing. They're like, more mana creatures. Are they crazy? They're letting all of them go. There's no way we can. And they're just like, somebody from behind is like, use the gem. Use the protective charm you receive from the Upper Institute. Attach it to the base of your wand and cast away. And that's when we find out that that gem basically is able to break that Sleem barrier. It is wild. Now, to understand this, we're going to have to go way back to the end of season 1 of the anime / that era of the manga, where, well, we'll get to that here in a moment. So basically, at this point, everybody is just busting loose with magic. It does not matter. That Sleem barrier does nothing. And everyone's kind of like, how is this a thing? You know, what is this gas? The barrier's effects have been nullified. How is this going on? How is this happening? You know, and, you know, the gear to counteract the effects of the mage killer, they're using my anti-Sleem. That's right. They have developed a whole, because remember, once again, go back to the end of season 1, they bring the Sleem, the big, that big mage killer sword, and at some point in time, they were doing experiments on this and trying to figure out what it was, how it works, and how to counteract it. So, yeah. Yeah. That is really cool. And you could actually already tell here how this kind of happened. It's been, let's call it lifted, 5-figure discounted from those that were actually, you know, doing the research. I love the line here. They were more assigned, or they were more than assigned. They were stolen by that impish ice maiden. So in other words, yeah, Elfie straight up thieved this technology, and they gave it to the entire ice faction as well as a few other high-level mages. So the whole ice faction has access to this tech, which is awesome. And that's just part of the course for Elfie. She's just, I love the fact she just plays by her own rules, and that is amazing. Amazing. So the other ice faction members just start unleashing ice everywhere. And even some of the other higher level mages are like, what is going on? This does not make sense. How is this happening? And of course, the Goetia members are just losing their marbles. They, you know, how in the world is this going on? This is impossible. And by all accounts, as far as they know, this is impossible. Everything that's happening right here, right now, Nobody had any clue about it. We as the reader, as the omniscient reader, are only now finding out that all this stuff was going on in the background. They don't even tell you full on who was doing the research, or well, they tell you who was doing the research. They'll tell you a whole lot about like how it happened, how it was derived. You got to really go back and remember some of the stuff that happened really early on in the series to remember that, oh yeah, they've had these sleep. They've been working on this. This has been a thing. I'm sure in the next chapter or two, we're going to get a big background on how this all went down. I'm sure Finn's going to be involved and all that stuff. It is wild. Wild. Crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah. She's like, and you would believe, and believe me, you would just hate to hear how long ago we got this done. That's the clue right there. This tells you right away that this is all stemming from the stuff that they got early on in the in this franchise. Season 1 of the anime. And we're like on season 4 or 5 of the anime right now. So, or what will be eventually. I'm going to guess probably season 4. Still, this is wild. This is probably the big grand finale of season 4 of the anime. Yep. And everyone's just like, the Ice Faction mages, they're taking out the creatures with magic. Still, most people out there have no idea. It's us as the reader that have already figured it out and have been told. But most of the rest of everyone else out there is like, what's going on? Yeah. And you got an old girl here who's just recently traded sides. And she's like, this is looking pretty bad. What are we going to do? And I love, should we take the barrier down? And I love Julius. He's like, yeah, let's just take it down. And she's like, I love that. Oh, a cutie alert. I love how just like such just a I don't know, distractible being she is. Let's put it that way. But yeah, like the circle, it's fading away. That's not good. That is the barrier. So even though they are now winning, for lack of a better way to put it, there is still something going on. We haven't won the day yet. There are still huge stakes. And in fact, they're breaking down that big barrier that keeps everything at bay. The whole reason Goetisha's going at it. So even though we're celebrating, we're winning, we're breaking everything down. Now, somehow from the inside, they're still about to achieve their goal. And that is bad. The barrier's been broken. The spell points are down. Magic is back on the table. Mages squash creatures. So yeah, like everything looks really good. But they're like, we can still win the day, mages. And I love this. I think not. The game is over and we are the victors. Goetisha is absolutely convinced that they have won the day. And check it out. The tower is essentially, literally seems to be falling. And what happened here? They're like, the illusion magic surrounding the first stratum, and you find out that Charles, that dude, has knocked all these guys out, probably unalived them completely, and is at the Callus panel, the thing that they've been looking to achieve. So, each side has now played their hand. All the cards are on the table. It's just straight up going to come down to effort at this point. And how are they going to overcome this? It's wild to think we've come this far. Like, Julius is back. Ice Faction's winning. Everything's going well. But we are now losing even though we're winning. So it's anybody's game at this point. Can I just say, I love this. I love Amori's writing for this exact moment right here. This is that thing that he does where it's like, no matter who you think is winning in the moment, there is always a contingency plan for a contingency plan for a contingency plan. And each side has something going on. So the stakes, even though it looks like, a minute ago, we've won the day, we absolutely have not. This is awesome. I love this. Because this means chapter 55 cannot come soon enough. We'll get it sometime between the 6th and the 8th of August, so stay tuned for that. This was a little bit of a shorter chapter. Normally these are like 50 some odd pages. This one was 32 pages, but I think the next one is going to be huge. So stay tuned. We will be back with more Wistoria Wand and Sword as soon as we get those chapters.